Hi guys. So I did a reading that I'm going to share here in a few minutes. I just want to take a couple minutes to set it up. So I've seen a couple of headlines in major newspapers in the last couple of weeks that have me really curious and a little concerned for a few reasons, and I'll explain. So 2 weeks ago, the New York Times published an article with the headline, "Are We Getting Invaded? U.S. boats faced Russian aggression near Alaska border." And this really caught my attention, first of all, because it's in general an alarming headline. And also, I did a reading on this in September. And if you're interested, it's called Arctic 1, Vlad's Fantasy. There's also an Arctic 2 that I did right afterwards. So anyway, when I saw this headline, I thought, wow, things must be escalating, which is something I saw might happen when I did that reading. But when I read the article, I realized there's nothing new being reported here. And I know that because I looked into what's going on there, and it was like this article basically reported the same thing. But it was so strange that they sort of dropped it as a new headline. And I thought, why in the world would they do that when nothing actually new has happened? And I had this strong feeling in my gut. Now I realized, maybe it's a slow news day and they just kind of regurgitate stories, but it was just like this strong feeling in my gut. And this whole sort of theory came to me, like that the military or high up government types might work with the New York Times and maybe other high-end news outlets as well to get stories out from time to time for national security reasons. Maybe in order to get all eyes on a certain area, or even to send a message to the enemy or the aggressor, like, we are watching you, we know what you're up to, and if you try anything, the world is watching now as well. So anyway, I kind of let that go, like, okay, I'll keep an eye on that, like, ooh, I wonder if that's real, and like they have some intelligence that maybe there's something that might go on there. And then yesterday, I think it's yesterday or the day before, another story dropped, and this one is concerning the border in India. And the headline there is, "Satellite images appear to show China developing area along disputed border with India and Bhutan." And it shows satellite images of a sort of military village that China is building there. And this definitely also caught my attention because I had a dream about the India border last month. And I did a reading on it on October 10th. And it's called, "What Does Putin Want? Indian Border Dream." I'll tell you a little bit about my dream also. In the dream, I felt the beautiful land there, full of these beautiful minerals. And I now know that area to be the Himalayas. And I felt also this awful threat, there's this desire to suck the life and the minerals out of that land. And I was shown this sort of illustrated to me by showing me like an Indian man's face. And I saw the life sucked out of him. Like the color and life went out of his face. And I felt that very much related to what they would do to the land as well. And I'll explain why I think Putin is involved in this, because Putin is involved with this. But first I'll say that I noticed this article had nothing new as well as far as new activity. I will say the satellite image is fairly new, but it was taken over a month before this story dropped. So I'm like, that's not really breaking news. It almost gave me the feeling, same feeling as the Alaska border story. Like they wanted to drop a story and make it seem like big, breaking news. And so they sort of use this image like this can be the story. And, this is all just sort of theory, but it was just also just a gut feeling like maybe that it was for the same purpose, to send a message at this border because they feel some aggression might be growing there in their, intelligence, and that they might use the media in this way as sort of a type of war game, I suppose. And to just when if you have some kind of plan, and this is all for entertainment purposes only, of course, you have some plan to invade something, the last thing you want is for the whole world to have their eyes on that. So I was also going to explain, if you don't know, why Putin is very much in the middle of the India border dispute. He just sort of inserted himself there. He sent a bunch of Russian troops there. I feel very strongly that he is trying to align with China there are a lot of different reasons I feel that. And I feel that Putin's goal a very big overarching goal for Putin, and something that Trump has been helping him with in his own way, is to form a stronger alliance with China, to topple the power of America and put himself on top, to recreate the Soviet Union. Like I felt in my read that he just has big fantasies about that. And I think he wants China aligned with him in order to do that, and that Trump's job as president, his directive from Putin was to beat up on China, weaken China, basically push China into Russia's arms once and for all. And I think that Trump has done a great job of that. And interestingly, I see that Putin made a statement recently on October 22nd, signaling deepening ties between Moscow and Beijing amid growing tensions in China's relations with the United States. And it just felt like it was chilling to me. It felt so much like a signal or a sort of threat of his own. And on top of that, you may have heard that Trump is officially and immediately pulling us out of the Open Skies Transparency Act, which allows special airplanes to do flyovers of countries to collect military data and other intelligence as a way for all participating countries within the pact to be informed of any sneak attacks coming for their borders. And so just all of this together, and then these two borders randomly having these stories drop, and who knows if maybe I'm missing others, I don't know, but it's just crazy. And Trump is also straight up destroying the special airplanes to make sure that Biden can't get right back into the pact. So it's just a lot of things happening. And, these things got me a little nervous, especially considering this weird time between presidents when nobody knows who's really in power. So what I wanted to know in the read, like, do these stories indicate that there's trouble at these borders, and should we be concerned about it? So, long setup, but here is my read on that. Putin and or China, are they going to suddenly start doing things that are going to freak us out at these borders, at these different borders? I think I'm feeling this deck instead. Okay, so is there anything that we should expect to happen, let's say by the end of the year? Oh, okay. Okay, so here's what I get on that. This makes me feel like there has been some, like maybe those articles came out, which I feel I see up here. This is like exposing some things so that everybody can be aware and see it. So like I feel like what I was saying about those articles is right here, and this in the surface, that coming out helps. Everyone's looking. And I see that with the strength card down here, meaning what you see is, look at these things happening. Isn't that terrible? We all need to keep an eye on these areas, don't we? And down here, that's a strength card. Like, this helps them to keep a handle on the situation and to keep maybe potential invaders from taking another step forward. Like, we are all watching you. You're going to look really bad, and we're going to make sure of it. Page of Cups tells me there has been some funny business, but that it's like, a page is is low level. It's just enough to prompt, maybe we need to put them back in their place with the article and the strength. So it's like sort of maybe just sort of some overstepping of boundaries here and there. I'm not trying to say that China building a military base at the border there is, nothing, or it's small. I just think this is sort of telling us that to the military or to whoever is watching these things, to the intelligence services, it's just a little worrisome like that. They don't like some of the activity. There's maybe a little bit of grandstanding in these areas. It's not too powerful here, this Page of Cups. It's more like, I see it as like a a teenager that's getting out of line and pushing boundaries and maybe thinking they're pretty cool or pretty, tough. Acting out. Like it's like the teenagers are acting out. And then one way I do think they deal with it in order to control the situation a bit is to put out articles, puts the truth out there of what's going on. So this Page of Cups is covered by this Four of Cups. Yeah, so this I read as like, here's a little bit of medicine so you know we're watching you. And now the world knows what you're up to. With the, somehow I guess just putting it out there and making people aware helps a lot. I mean, this must be why they just hate the media so much, because things get out there and it thwarts their plans. This I see as Putin having had some victories and feeling pretty good about himself, maybe why he's pushing some boundaries here and there. And I know one of the stories is about China, but I don't know. I just feel like Putin's behind it all. I do. If there is this World War III happening beneath the surface, that maybe it is like, Russia, China, and Putin's calling the shots. Anyway, this moon card tells me that it's not really going to go anywhere for him. It's like, yeah, you've had some wins. You got Trump to do some stuff for you, right? There it is in the past. Moving forward, it's just not going to go anywhere. The moon card just sort of howling at the moon. It's not a solid card of anything actually happening. And then we have more on that is this Wheel of Fortune with this 10 of Cups. This Wheel of Fortune keeps coming as like, it's funny, everyone is trying to control this Wheel of Fortune, but like Biden's coming in, like this is happening. And Putin, you're gonna get off your high horse. I mean, you've got the high horse here, Six of Wands, high horse, and then you're getting booted off with this 10 of Cups. I'm certain that that's what it is, because this has been my card for the Biden administration, the sort of new age coming in, and the sort of end, the completion as a 10 is a completion. It's sort of like whatever game Putin is playing, Wheel of Fortune, you're out, and this is coming, this is taking over. It's going to be a new age of treating people well. It's not going to be about dominance. It's going to be about sharing, and that's all there is to it. And, caring for the earth. Also, this Seven of Swords, I mean, there it is. This is stealing. This is hopes and desires, and that's stealing. So, yeah, the goal was certainly to steal some territory, steal some land, take some, in my read on what does Putin want, it felt very much that this was what he wants. He wants to be taking over territories, and in order to build a sort of more dominance on the world stage. But it's not happening. And then I get this Knight of Cups at the end as a long-term outcome of this. This I see as very much as the United States getting back in with the allies. Trump has, pulled out of every pact and union that we have with our allies. More of the sort of world peacemakers and like, let's have peace, let's share, let's take care of the earth. These are like the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. And Biden is going to bring us back into that union. This Knight of Cups is a sort of knight in shining armor that like cups, the Knight of Love. So here we are saying we're back in with the group. At the base of the read at that time, back in the group, and with that, we have this Knight of Swords. Now this, compared to the Knight of Cups, is more of a knight of battling. This would be the energy of a plan to try to take territory with force. Putin's, plan and desire to be taking territory. And then we have a Three of Cups that with this union, these things are thwarted. So, and then again, now I have this Three of Cups, again with that union and togetherness, that we're joining back in with allies, which is why that's present there. And then the Magician with that also. So the Magician is almost like, yeah, you would say taking back the world power with the allies, because the Magician is the most powerful card, and it's like we all use, it can be one person, but I think that here it is sort of the allied forces using all of their powers together to be that strong force, to take out these plans for invasions. This would be the energy of an invasion. The invasion plans are thwarted because of the allies, this Three of Cups, us joining back in with the allies. It's happening, this Wheel of Fortune. The togetherness is here. And this Four of Pentacles would be, people having the ability to hold on to their land. And this Nine of Swords upside down, this would be like you're sort of trapped, you're being invaded. This would be kind of like a type of invasion, a moving in, and that's thwarted. It's upside down. Holding on to their land and becoming and feeling more free and less restrained. This would be like you are restrained. You can see those hands tied up. And this is a release of that strain on these areas. So that's pretty cool. And then I got some cards with this Knight of Cups. I got an upside down Ace of Cups, and then an Eight of Swords. And then below, these came out together, which is super cool. When I get to these, the Fool and the King of Rods. Well, I guess I'll just say this I've seen very much. The Fool as the new Biden administration coming in, and the King of Rods as Biden. Biden as president, I'm feeling him as more of a King of Rods. So, it's just all tying in with that Wheel of Fortune. Here he is, and here's the new administration. Again, with like the new age, the Fool, the new coming in. And then this sort of getting back into our love relationships. This Knight of Cups is a very like romantic gesture, getting back in with our friends and allies on the world stage. And then with that, this upside down Ace of Cups being like a major disappointment for someone, I'm going to say for Putin, whatever he has built up and gained, it's dumped upside down. That new, whatever he had gotten from Trump is dumped. And this, he's also restrained. This Eight of Swords, if he was becoming unrestrained with Trump, and Trump did do a lot of things to unrestrain Putin, he is restrained again. We will be back in with the things that Trump has taken away, even though I know he's trying to do something so that Biden can't get back into some of these unions. He'll find a way. It may be interesting, the Fool, it might even be just simply new and improved, because the Fool is sort of like, let's start over, let's do something new. So Biden maybe will have some even more new and improved, which we obviously need new and improved. We can't just go back to what it was, because Trump has shown us that's not enough. And then at the base, once I threw all these cards, I had an upside down Knight of Rods, an upside down Knight of Rods with this Queen of Rods and the Temperance card. This I'm connecting to, interesting, because like Knight of Cups is like getting back into the our friends and in with our friends and allies on the world stage, and this is sort of dumping Putin. This Knight of Rods, it's like he's getting dumped, and there's a Queen of Rods here with a Temperance, bringing things back into balance. This Knight of Rods. No, Putin, you're no longer an influence that is going to be tolerated by this Queen of Wands. I don't know who this is, but someone could be a new like defense person or CIA. I do see this Seven of Pentacles with this Ten of Pentacles, getting back to the work of governing and looking into these situations at these borders. And this Ten of Pentacles I see with this big X here, you see. It feels very much like the doors are closing on Putin, okay? This Ten of Pentacles being the riches of other countries. And this makes me feel like those countries keep their riches and the doors are closed on Putin in this. The Lovers upside down, like whatever you had going on, it's over. And I do think something will come at Russia some kind of new law or charge here with this chariot. A new, could even be like a new, like tying more into the Allied forces, like a new proclamation, a new statement, but it's like something written, maybe a new sort of union, world union of allies that is sort of redefined and comes out strong. For this new entrance, this Two of Wands, with the Empress, sort of like a new world, new life, new age, sort of tying into that with that Empress, sort of like the old ways are not going to be tolerated. We're going to be a better world, I think. Yeah, with that Nine of Cups. A better world that shares, I don't know, do we share the wealth? Do we share the, just kind of like a unity and a care for our planet moving forward? Because that's another thing I have to read on, is this song that keeps going through my head, and I feel like it has to do with global warming and what we might expect moving forward. So anyway, that's my read on that. Yeah, I do. I think that they put things out there. They put those articles out there in order to keep things, to expose their plans, to let them know, which makes them keep a stronghold on them more than they even already have. Like, it's very like, we're watching you and you're not going to get away with anything. So if there is any concern on those fronts or whatever, I just wanted to do this read and thought I'd share it with you guys. I love to hear your thoughts. And so thank you for watching and all your kind, awesome comments and conversations. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.